Yo, everybody, this is your host, Abe, and you're now tuning into The Scoop. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is The Scoop, episode 2, and I'm joined by the beautiful Andrea here in the office. I just started here again, so I'm pretty sure she's my boss. And again, very beautiful, so that's not a woman across. I don't know your title properly, so if you want to announce it, go for it, please.
It's a mouthful. Senior Director of Content and Creative, I think, is the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's my boss after
right.
after all those words. So yes.
But see, that's misleading because you technically, I think, have more years than I do here at BPI.
I think I have more years than Chris, and he's the CEO. I mean,
okay. So how many years do you have here total at BPI?
Total at BPI. Oh man, let's see. I want to say maybe 9, close to 10.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna be at 3 in December. So you've got me beat.
Oh yeah.
But you were in sports nutrition before BPI.
Yes, I was actually. That's how I fell into BPI. I mean, when I started off as a kid, I started off at a franchise GNC. You know, my brother worked at a vitamin shop, and I was like, I want to get into this. And
so you gave him the middle finger and went to GNC?
No. I was actually only like 16, and I had to go work for a franchise GNC. So, you know, you had to be 18 to sell supplements. Right. You know, this was when supplements were being deemed like 18 or over. So I had to find a franchise that was willing to hire somebody who had a decent amount of knowledge. So I ended up going to a GNC. I worked there till I was properly 18, and I moved onward to Vitamin Shop after that, and started working at Vitamin Shop. And before we had started BPI, we were a previous company. So one of the owners from here, pretty much this guy would beat me to work every day. And he would come in and tell me how late I was. And I'm like, dude, I'm on time. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, you know, it's not a thing. But he would come in, he would ask me about everything and who I thought were the top supplements. And it was out of control. And every day I would pull up, I would see this guy in his Hummer, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this guy's not going to buy nothing. He's going to kill me again. And then long story short, he was like, dude, you want a job? I took the job, and that company ended up getting into Vitamin Shop. So to avoid a conflict of interest, I jumped out, and I ended up joining this guy, and I went from being a young manager to an employed garage worker. So we were working out of the garage, and I'd hear this guy's crazy ideas, and we'd pack samples like, you know, super rigged, like folding over like a baggie. I mean, it was crazy. And, you know, I followed this guy's dream, and it led me, you know, shortly behind mine. So after that, the company actually closed for whatever reasons. You know, I don't know full detail, but the company closed, and I try to stay in contact with, you know, D. And when that happened, I just said, you know, I got to go to multiple places. You know, he was always generous. He paid me very, very well then. And I had the whole shebang, a full package. And I ended up jumping into, I remember I started working back at Vitamin Shop, and I was also working at a hotel and restaurant supply place. And sure enough, you know, a few years down the line, I'm at this hotel and restaurant supply place, and this guy calls me. I don't know how he got my number. Obviously, I recognize his voice. Everybody can tell when they hear him. And he's like, are you tired of selling spoons and forks? And I'm like, I just start laughing.
Oh my God, he knew exactly where you were.
Yeah, I don't know how. I have no idea who he was talking to. The Instagram wasn't even up. He wasn't on Facebook. Right. And I'm like, dude, yeah. I'm like, I'm in. And he's like, I got a new thing going, and this is our key product. And he's like, it's one more rep. And I'm like, say no more, I'm there. So, you know, long story short, we show up, we start working. Chris, who's the CEO now, remembered me from the old company. Chris was like, dude, I thought you were a super stud. I saw you flying all over the U.S. and doing all these demos. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm, you know, I don't know how I pulled those off. If anybody wanted to know, I was actually pulling off those demos my brother, I wasn't 25. So my brother would rent the cars and I would fly into like whatever state it was. And then if I had to, I'd use his ID or I'd just use mine, and I'd go and get it done. And that's what it was. You know, everybody getting it done one step at a time. And Chris was in Jersey, so I knew of him, but we just didn't meet at the time when we were supposed to. And then when BPI started up and we were not too far down the street, we're on the other side of where the dump is. So I would roll in, and Chris was there, and you know, we started fresh straight out in January. And I mean, that was the build of a friendship between everybody that was here. You know, I got to see all the reps that came in here. I got to train a lot of the guys that were in here. So it was really fun. I had a great time with, you know, going to all the shows and just learning along the way with Chris and Wid and just everybody here. I mean, now I got to learn from you. So,
oh God,
you know.
no pressure.
Yeah. So my middle brother went into the military, and you know, when he went in, he was like, "Look, dude, you know, piece of advice, you know, do good in school, you know, and keep up with your training, you know, and do as good as you can at sports." Like we grew up. I mean, we grew up pretty poor, you know what I mean? Like, we left Chicago, we came to Miami, we were new here. I mean, my mom worked like 3 jobs. I don't even remember seeing her at all. Like, at sometimes it'd be like 2-3 days. So, you know, my brothers and sisters, we would all go to the park. My mother signed us up to the park. We would play all the sporting events. You know, my sister would drive us to and from, then drive to school, compete in whatever sport she was doing at high school, and come back and then pick us up. And literally, we would leave school at, you know, whether it was a Wednesday, 2:30 or 3 o'clock, go to school, get out, go straight to the park, and get home like at 9:30. And like, my mom was like working, obviously multiple jobs, but they would end around 9:30, 10, pick us up at the park, go home, eat, sleep, and then back to the park. And at the park, we played everything. We played hockey, basketball, flag football, baseball. Wow. What else? Oh, volleyball. Everything, tennis, everything. So the sports that stuck with me the most were through high school. I played football, which I stopped shortly after I got a scholarship toward Oregon State, and I stopped shortly because of a back injury. So I wasn't going to undergo surgery, and I just let it go. But then throughout high school, when I continued doing physical therapy, I played tennis as well. So I played tennis. I was going to high school in California. My mom was like, "There's no way you're going to school here in Florida. They're terrible, and you're going to California." So I went to California with my older brother and sister, and I would live back and forth between their houses. I like spending time with both of them. So, but after football ended for me, you know, I made the decision. I came back to Florida. So when I came here, the school system's so different that I was already pretty much deemed graduated. So I ended up taking workers ed, or whatever it's called. It's like when you got a job and you're 16. So I was at GNC, and I would just go to work, and the days that I had a game, I would just play the game. So instead of playing football when I came back here, I was just like, nah, you know what? I'm just going to play tennis. So I played tennis. I did pretty good. You know, I was the number 1 here at HML. It's a Hialeah Miami Lakes school, and I got an MVP award, and I actually brought some funding to that program. So that was pretty fun too. I mean, now the kids have a bus. I used to drive everybody in my crappy Jeep, like, to all the games, and everybody's like, "Man, you suck." I'm like, just save it for the game, you know, boo me, heckle me then. But, you know, and it was co-ed. So there was a girls team and a boys team. We played at the same time and got out there. And that's where like my athletic background came from. You know, my older brothers and sisters, you know, my oldest brother played college ball, my football. My oldest sister played basketball for college as well too in North Carolina. My other sister was a volleyball coach and played volleyball, you know, her whole life. And my brother has military baseball experience, and just, it was super competitive in my house. So it was never a dull moment, never at all. Like, you always had to want to beat everybody. So that's where it was. I mean, I don't know if you have any brothers and sisters?
I have a younger sister. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So we we played every sport, but the older that we got, the more it, you know, shrunk down. Your time is limited, coaches expect more from you. Like
Yeah.
my biggest two were soccer and volleyball. And my soccer coach was like, well, you can't play volleyball at the same time because that's our off season. And I was like, well, sorry, peace out. I like volleyball better. So, but that, I mean, for me, they don't, at least for where I went to school, there was no conversation between players like, hey, do you take BCAAs to help with recovery for volleyball? Like that never even, in college, like even if I knew student athletes, and maybe it just wasn't a conversation they had with me because I wasn't, but I'd never had my eyes open to that at all.
It's funny you brought that up. I remember seeing my oldest brother drink a shake once, and I was like, if I drink one of those, I'll be as strong as him. Oh, wow. I can't even describe how terrible that tasted. I mean, now supplements today taste amazing, and then it just tasted like pure medicine. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be this strong. Maybe I'll be like a middle guy.
Right.
And then I remember when I got older, my one brother had some pre-workout in the house, and he's like, don't take any of that. You can't take none of it. It's going to jack your heart up through the roof. And I'm like, this guy doesn't know anything. I'm like, I saw him take 3 scoops. Maybe I'll take 1.5. I remember going to the gym that day. I was so pumped up. By the time I laid on the bench, I was like sweating in like cold sweats, like trembling. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
I should have listened.
Yeah, it was the worst thing. Like, like if you get drunk at a party, you got to call your parents to come pick you up. I had to like call them at the gym, like, dude, I took too much. I'm like shaking. Please come get me.
Come save me.
Oh God, it was terrible. But that was like my first few experience with supplements, and I could see exactly where you're coming from. Like, nobody sees that, like, what they do, how they work. You just see the ads and so forth. But today it seems like it's expanded so much, and obviously here at BPI we're doing our best to spring it across and let you see the clear picture on this is for you, this is for you. You're doing this diet, this is perfect for you.
Right.
So
something for everybody.
I guess that's what we're stepping into.
So, did you ever compete with your brothers as like your role models? Like, were you ever?
Always. And even though like my mom wasn't around as much.
No, not compete between the two of you, like bodybuilding show.
Oh no, not bodybuilding. Okay, cool. I thought you were meaning sports, but just for the record, I finished that. I know people can only hear us as of now. Maybe they'll be able to see us on our feed, but I kind of like had this beard like at 8. And the people in the city of Hialeah were like, this kid is, not to toot my own horn, but they were like, this kid is good. I remember like in baseball, they like moved me out of like 11 and 12s, and they're like, you're playing like 15, 17. And I'm like, dude, well, great. Now I'm going to suck. But I guess that's how they kept it kind of fair if parents complain. And my mom was like, you guys aren't allowed to be on the same team. So like if he was at one park, I would have to go to another park for the sport. But as far as competing, my oldest brother did in California. He did it one time. But I never did compete. I guess I just like to eat too much.
Yes.
I really enjoy food. But I've always loved that aspect of bodybuilding. Like, I've always loved it. Like, going to the shows, I was a big fan during the era when Jay and Ronnie were competing. And, watching those two guys go at it, anybody is like, yeah, I want to get in the gym. I want to get in the gym and I want to get on stage, no matter what. I mean, those were amazing years. I've dieted down more or less to like a contest prep, and I don't know, I guess I would like to be more prepared if I was to ever do so. I don't want to run in my first show. I think I would like to diet down to that level and then do it maybe 2-3 times between the 2-3 years and build that muscle like maturity. Like, even though I've been stronger before and I've had some pretty impressive lifts, but I think your muscles need to mature and your body does as well too when you lose that much body fat. So I think that's where I would want it to go. I would want to mature before going on stage. I don't want to get on stage and get get killed and somebody give me a thanks for participating trophy.
Well, and I think that again, once you get into it, you even if it's not something that you want to do, you can't help but respect it, right? Like the people that I talk to that aren't in sports nutrition or don't understand bodybuilding are like, well, why would you want to look like that? And it's not that, well, first of all, I think that you get to a certain point where your view of yourself is completely skewed, right? But at the same time, it's not necessarily for everybody. It's not that I'm going to be on the cover of Men's Health. Look, that's not the point of it, right? So you just have to respect the fact that these people put so much attention into every single muscle in their body and the balance of it. And you can see it on stage, and like, that's not easy. So say whatever you will, like, oh, okay, they can do that, but they can't throw a football. Like, but that's not the point of it, right? Like, that's not, and that discipline that you talked about, like, you have to be so disciplined with your food and your water and everything, your sleep. Not everybody can do that. And I mean, bodybuilding has grown, but the people that get to that top Olympia level, no, that's not for everybody. Everybody can't do that.
No. That's a whole nother beast right there. I mean, those guys deserve it. They deserve praise, definitely. Every single Mr. Olympia. Any weight class, any gender, whoever it is that's winning on that stage, they've earned it.
Yep.
And it's a lot of work.
In more ways than one. At the gym, their diet.
Oh, yeah.
All the supplements, everything.
You got guys that have to hold back. Like, let's take, for instance, Phil Heath. I mean, in a time when I was with BPI, we were traveling. I was doing international sales. We were traveling around the world. And it's funny, whenever we'd go to the gym, Jay and Phil were friends, and they would come along. We'd work out. And, I'd hold the camera and take all the pictures and never be in them. But when I would get the chance to, and I talked to both of them, like, Phil was like, dude, my arms are at their max. We're like 3 months out. I can't work them out anymore. So I'm like, dude, how do you work on your back and your chest when you're trying to limit your arm movements? I mean, you work those muscles when you do those. Yeah, when you hit those other muscles. So, I mean, it must feel weird to be like, oh, I'm going to have to go to the gym and do legs 3 times now this week.
Well, there's the joke out there that it's bro science, right? But it's still science. Like, even if it's just something that bodybuilders pass back and forth to each other, there's something to it. Like, it's kind of like the stereotype thing. It came from somewhere, right? Like, these guys, it might not be, hey, here's the biological, physiological reason behind it, but they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they're trainers, too, as far as the food goes. I mean, to get that size and that lean is, I mean, I'm going through it now. I mean, as you know, I'm doing the whole trainer now, the 8 weeks.
Yeah, and, you just started.
Yeah, and
that's probably the hardest part.
Oh yeah, my body feels like it's nuked like all day. Like every meal I eat, I'm like, am I sweating or am I just hot? I don't, I haven't been able to determine it yet. And I know you just walked through our office. Our office is freezing and I barely feel it.
Right.
I barely feel it, and it just keeps you on edge. It just keeps you on edge. The great thing is, you get the one meal a week, you get to celebrate, but...
Well, and I think another misconception is that the hard part is the gym, and that's not the hardest part. Yeah, getting back into it is tough, but it's the meals.
Yeah.
It's the meal prep. It's the not giving into temptation. It's making sure you weigh everything out. You know your macros. You know your calories. You're getting your water. Like, that's a lot to think about.
No, and I've dieted before. I've never, honestly, measured out my food as I'm doing so now. Oh, man. I can tell you, when you measure it out, the 4 meals in the middle, besides breakfast and dinner, the 4 meals in between, you're just like, you look at that and you're like, wow. You know what it would feel like? It would be like if you went to any fast food joint and you ordered your burger, and whenever you get like the extra fry or so on the bottom of the bag, just imagine your fry's empty and that one fry down there is all you get. That's exactly how I feel. I'm getting the one fry.
And you're so tired and so hungry and you can't have it.
That's what's left for me, the one fry.
Mm-hmm. At least it's a fry.
Yeah, I'll eat it, soggy or not, whatever the case is.
No, not soggy.
It's been at the bottom of the bag.
Crispy, come on. Not soggy fries, gross. Gross. All right, so let's circle back. So bodybuilding, I think, is intimidating, if not a turnoff to a lot of people, because it's so extreme, right?
Yeah.
But I think when you truly learn about the supplements and what it is and what the ingredients do, especially for me, just coming from a sports background, I was like, oh, this actually would have been really beneficial to know for track or for volleyball. And I'm, you know, like we did the partnership with Last Chance U, and the coaches actually asked us, they said, hey, will you come out here and talk to our players about supplements? Because they have this misconception that anything that they take is cheating. And I think that comes from an innocent, like, good place, right? They don't want to take a banned substance and get banned from the team, which is smart. Yeah. You know, you'd rather err on that side than make a mistake and get kicked off. But like creatine, for example, creatine is one of the most researched, most proven clinically ingredients, supplements out there. And yet how many people outside of, you know, the true gym rats know about it that could benefit from it? You know, like the kid that's a gamer and wants to put on size. Oh my gosh, take creatine, go to the gym.
Where, and I agree with you on that, because, you know, I just think we just need more support, not on our end, but from the outside sources that give us our approvals, so people can see how beneficial supplements are towards people. Like you said, there's gamers out there. What do these guys drink? About 6, 7, 8
Mountain
different
Dews.
type of energy. Different type of energy drinks, all these artificial sweeteners and flavors. And I mean, if not, it keeps you up, but it's not improving your focus. If anything, it's making you jittery and playing a game where you can't blink or you'll die. I mean, you know, you don't want to get shot.
Right. But there's nootropics that would be so much better than caffeine.
Definitely way better, and I mean more supportive. I mean, obviously you're a kid, you're studying. You know, they limited a lot of things to the ages of 18, but as these kids are developing and growing now, I mean, I think it's a lot better for somebody to be able, and I'm not a doctor, but I think it's much better for somebody to have an amino. I mean, I took aminos when I was playing football. I took BCAAs as well too. You know, my brother informed me on everything, what to take, and at the time it sucked because it was mostly pills, and the pills were huge. I had to like crush them up like my grandma. I didn't put them in my oatmeal, but I had to crush them up and like swallow like 6, 7 crumbs, and you know, it sucked, but it definitely benefited me, because I remember guys walking around all beat up, banged up. I mean, everybody remembers Hell Week. It was horrible, and all they give you is sugar water. And I'm not hating on Gatorade, but it's sugar water, you know? I mean, so I think just informing everyone what they can and what the safest dosage would be great and beneficial for all athletes, all ages. You know, just to capitalize. I mean, these are these kids' goals, and you don't want anything happening to them because they're too worn out. I mean, look at kids in college. They're afraid to take supplements because it might be on the ban list, and yet they don't make any money. They
don't have time to recover.
They're backed up in student loans. I mean, and some of these guys are playing, and I'll vouch for these guys because I remember playing in a few Nike camps. You know, you're playing after taking a test on like 2 cups of ramen noodles. I mean, and you're a defensive lineman. You got to like go up against another guy that's 200 to 300 pounds, full force, sometimes getting double team. And your coach is yelling at you for getting beat up on the field. And it doesn't start on the field. It's off the field, what you do, you know, and everything's important. So I think some of the supplements should be further researched.
Yeah. Well, I mean, protein even, like, just that you were saying that, I was watching this documentary on the NCAA, and there was a story about a kid who put on it was either on a social media or something. Somehow it got out that he didn't have money for groceries, right? So he was like this great athlete, but was basically going home after school and after practice and starving. And somebody saw this and bought him groceries. The NCAA found out about it and cut him, banned him. Now, come on, right? But again, this is extreme. Protein is a great, cheap, meal replacement. Not that I'm recommending that for
Definitely.
athletes that are like doing 2-a-days, but like it's cheaper. It gives you variety. If you're eating chicken and rice every meal, like you can treat yourself to a chocolate shake. And like you said, supplements nowadays are so good. It's like legitimately like having a chocolate shake. It's not just trying to trick your brain into thinking that. So exactly, just education on that and knowing that it's an option is huge.
The outsource as well too. I mean, the guy could easily put oats. He could throw peanut butter in there. He can make this like a complete full meal. You know, he doesn't have to buy the weight gainer. He can make it a complete full meal. It doesn't have to taste like he's drinking sand. And you know, and he'll have substance. Wasn't there a player that passed out, I believe, and passed away on the field not too long ago during NCAA? He was on a football team.
Had a heart attack.
School. Got a heart attack or something like that. I mean, these guys, you know, it's not like they're being double checked by doctors after games and things like that. I mean, it's all on their hands, you know, and I think it's a little unfair because, I mean, you know, not all of us come from the wealthiest of backgrounds. And we're good, and sometimes you just need that tad bit of support, whether it's coming from anybody, to get you there. And, you know, that's what we're doing here. I mean, we're supporting everybody on the end with BPI Sports. We tell everybody how great our products are, how they work. I mean, we're not putting anything out there that we here don't test personally.
Well, I think your trainer is such a great example of that. Like, we're not just trying to sell supplements, you know, like we offer the total package. Like, here's a training program that if you don't know what you're doing, you can watch every single day and see what this exercise, like even if you download the PDF and you're like, I have no idea what these exercises are, that's totally fine because you can watch the video and figure it out and follow along. And then there's a grocery list, like it makes it easy, and that is so important. Like, that's okay if you just come to the site and watch the videos and download the PDF and don't buy any of the supplements, that's okay too. Like, as long as you're getting educated, like that's what we're here for. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, that's the overall, you know, we're not trying to break the bank, but just help out, you know, nice helping hand for anybody that needs it. Anybody that needs it, you know, men, women, whoever want to choose to do the program, you know. And at the beginning of the 2 weeks, you know, you might hear me cry a little bit, but I'm taking my supplements, you know, I'm trying to beat that soreness.
You just got to live till the cheat meal.
Yeah, that's what you know, it's like, you know, people live check to check. I'm living like cheat meal to cheat meal. I just can't wait till I get to it. That's the move.
Exactly.
So, you know.
All right, well, I'm bored of you. Am I free yet?
Well, technically you are. You tell me what to do. So yes, you are definitely free.
I'm out of here.
Again, it was a pleasure to get you in here and steal some of your time. I mean, I love talking with you. Don't tell anybody. I love talking to you more than the guys. But it was awesome to come in here, and I do hope you join me again, whether it's one-on-one or with anybody else.
I'm gonna come jump in there and get a workout. Oof. Let you kick my ass out in the gym.
No, I you know, I don't know if that benefits me or not. Like, maybe you take an off day, or maybe you get mad and now I got to do something else. So I don't know how that works out.
The only thing I'm not coming out there for is morning cardio. I refuse. No.
I mean, that's the most important part.
Nope. I'd rather sleep.
That's how we burn. That's how we burn it all through the day.
That is true. Oh my gosh, I'm ravenous anytime I work out in the morning. Yeah. Like, your metabolism is just insane.
Oh yeah.
So Abe knows what he's talking about, people. Make sure you don't skip your AM cardio. Don't do what I say or do.
Yeah, I kind of say the same thing too, you know what I mean? Just go along with the program, you know?
Yes.
Follow me along. Let's see how we get there. And again, you know, this is us signing off here at BPI Sports. Your beast of a man and host, Abe, and your beauty here, my boss, Andrea. So thank you guys for coming on by, and I wish you would come back again shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for hosting me.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right, guys, we're out.